Hey, good morning, everybody. The big news this morning is it's your birthday. This channel turns 5 months old today on April 25th in front of a empty beach in Hermosa Beach amid a lockdown. I pressed record, didn't know if anyone was watching, and I recorded 4 videos that day. PPP, PUA, which had not yet launched, EIDL grant, and EIDL loan.
February 2020 banking statement for the business, at least the front page.
Today, the spirit continues as we're here to help one another. The only difference is I now have a bunny rabbit watching me. Back in those days, I didn't have any animals, just, fish in the sea. So the good news is that I'm here, you're here. The bad news is the lighting's really bad, so I probably look like a carrot. So if that bunny rabbit comes scampering into the room, understand that I'm not yesterday's lettuce. The cows are gone. They're off to Club Moo Ed. They're enjoying their stimulus cocktail, which Nancy Pelosi gave them, unfortunately, before us. And the great news as we start the new morning is that there's movement to get your stimulus check. We're sick of this utter nonsense. We're almost to the finish line. We know what we need, and we're telling everyone else to move out of the way. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Morning to LALATE, and hope you're good and safe. It's a very orange day, if you don't notice. It's very dark in the sky. It literally looks like Hades clouds have ascended over us. That's probably not Hades. It's just the new stimulus bill that the Temple of Doom's writing. Hope you're good and safe. This is Morning to LALATE, the That's the Most Watched morning news show every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, on a day in which there's incredible, exciting news across the board on your second stimulus check and stimulus package. The news is that the subject is front and center, as the Democrats are set to introduce a new bill in the House, but it's not a bill that you're going to want, not a bill that you want to endorse, but you certainly do want to anchor all the entire news discussions about it. But this is a moment as ever for us to really extend the heat, because the heat is hotter than a fish bake and a clam bake on a Saturday evening. If you've not joined and subscribed to this channel, today's probably the day. Go to the Funnest channel and subscribe and drop your comments below. I might answer them in tomorrow's recording. Also, hit that bell on the Funnest channel. This is a channel now. It's 270,000 subscribers in 4 months. Of course, a YouTube record. No one has ever done that. For a reason, we're here to help one another get through the new day. Stay positive and stay focused, and here, let's go. Also, like this video, because it's going to be the best rabbit video you're going to see this morning. All right, let me get to the incredible great news. The incredible great news is that we as a group remain focused, and our focus is the Problem Solvers Bill, a bill introduced over a week ago in the Senate to Congress that was $1.5 trillion bipartisan to get us to the finish line, and we're almost at the finish line. We have an October 1st deadline, which when I first reported on that deadline, more about in a second, last weekend, I was the only one talking about it. Now it's literally embedded in every news article that talks about stimulus. So this is really great news. More about that deadline in a second. But what's going to be happening throughout today is the chatter and the potential introduction. It may not happen today, it may not happen till Monday, of a new House stimulus bill from the Temple of Doom. Okay, let's stay focused on what this is before we cast it aside, which we're going to. First, the amount, 2.4. Not going to happen. Absolutely not going to happen. Second, has a lot of provisions in it. Has provisions the old HEROES Act did not have in it. PPP is in there now. Airlines is in there now. EIDL is not in there now. It's still being drafted by subcommittees. It is not formalized. Apparently, their printers work very slow, so they can't get this done until next Monday. I mean, really? You got 20 people working on a bill. You can get it done in 3 hours. What's your problem? That's the second thing. The third thing is it's a dog and pony show. And that's what you need to know as we start the new day. This was the letter that really may have pushed the envelope. A scandalous letter detailed on this channel yesterday throughout the day, and I'll probably still continue to report on it, because there's a scandalous letter written by Democrats and Republicans saying the HEROES Act is ineffective as a proposal from the Democrats because it's too big and it's partisan. It's so partisan that it says the stimulus checks cannot go out if the president signs them. I mean, why are we doing this pettiness? We are lawmakers. Why are we playing games with pettiness? You want to be petty, go to the zoo. Or, pet some of my llamas that watch this channel. Why are we being so petty? It's a petty bill that was too inflated and too partisan. So this letter said, hey, stop it. It literally just said, stop it. It was written by Republicans and Democrats and said, stop it. Send a new bill that's bipartisan, and let's get it done. Something that the Senate will approve, not just something that we write. And this is what's so important as we start the new day. What's a bipartisan bill? What's a bill that people would approve? What's a bill that everyone would be on board for? The problem solvers bill, hello, 1.5 trillion. Let's understand the situation. We're trying to get everything done in the next 7 days. A, correct, yeah. B, Mnuchin and all the Democrats that are sort of coming on board now say, we got to get this done in the next few days before we go home. Okay, so we don't have to do everything, correct? Yeah, we don't have to do everything. Okay, so why don't we just do the 1.5 trillion? We don't need 2.4. We can do the 1.5 because it gets what we need to get done now, and we get something done, and we can come back and talk the rest of the stuff in a couple of weeks. Doesn't want to do it. Temple Doom simply is delusional and is out to left field. Wants to be this as the big old bill that gets us all the way to February, March next year. We don't need that. We just need a bill to get us to December. We need stimulus checks. We need FPUC. We need hazard pay. We need EIDL. We need PPP. And we need food. We don't need all this. So as we start the new day, this is what you need to understand. First, reject the new bill from the Democrats. It's not going to pass. It's a dog and pony show. It's $2.4 trillion, which is exactly the number that since July, every single Democratic person has been told no one's going to vote for it or approve it. This is a person who's been told how many times we're not doing 2.4? I mean, every single day for 4 months, we're not doing 2.4. So guess what? She's going back and doing a bill at 2.4. Why? Because you just want to throw it in our face and think we're going to roll over? No. Why? Because you think it's going to pass? No. 2.4 is not going to pass. So what she's doing, the Temple Doom, is really an outrageous disservice to the American people that she's elected for and paid with our taxes for. She's going back and writing something up and saying, look, I did something. Americans should be proud, but Republicans and Mitch press pause, children going hungry. I mean, that's what she's going to say. We're going to say, no, why didn't you write a bill at 1.5? Why didn't you write a bill at 1.8? Everyone has told you for 4 months we're not doing 2.4. And what did you do? You went and did exactly what we said we won't agree to. That's not compromise. That's not partisan. That's not bipartisanship. That's not new. That's exactly what this letter said don't do. She's doing exactly that. So for the reasons that were outlined here right now is that you absolutely should categorically dispel, disavow, slam, not think about, and not focus on that bill that's coming from the House. So we're up to date on that. Next, the tide of publicity for stimulus will certainly help. That will certainly help. And what I want you to do, and this is where we're going to win, is I want you to start this is what's called getting ahead of the story in public relations. You're getting ahead of the story. I want you to get ahead of the story and say, be on social media and say, hey, I see this House bill coming. It's 2.4. That's partisan. It's not new. It's something we don't want, Americans. You're giving us exactly what we don't want. You're not doing anything. You're writing a bill and you're going to go home and it will never be approved by anyone. You need to have the story and basically give the negative public relations back to her because she's hoping for good public relations from introducing 2.4. No, we have to give her bad public relations back to her because that's not a bill that works. We need stimulus checks, $1,200 stimulus checks. That's in the problem solvers bill. $2,400 married couple stimulus checks. That's in the problem solvers bill. We need adult and minor dependent stimulus checks. That's in the problem solvers bill. We actually need 2 checks. That's in the problem solvers bill. 1 check now and a check in March. We actually need more than 2, but at the moment we're at 2 at least. We need a revision to the problem solvers bill. We need the minor and adult dependents to be at $1,200, not $500. We already have that the check would not be taken out for child support, would not be taken for collections. We also need that the check would not would stop at about 5 person household. So $1,200 times 5, $6,000 person household. That's a stimulus check. Problem solvers bill, FPUC. It all sounds perfect with the exception it needs to be retroactive. It's not retroactive. They have it at $450 for the first 8 weeks and $600 for the following 5 weeks. There's an additional provision that's too complicated to go over, but we love that. EIDL is in the problem solvers bill. Probably not going to be in her bill. EIDL loan, we need to revise that. We also need EIDL grant, that $10,000 grant you're supposed to get, but Javier didn't give to you. We also need EIDL loan, no max and cap on it. Finally, we need hazard pay. You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. In all the news articles that are describing what's going to be in the $2.4 trillion bill from the Temple of Doom that's going to debut early next Monday or Tuesday, no mention of hazard pay. Yeah. So we need the Romney plan. We need the Romney plan. When this video goes live, I'm going to be tweeting an image that has 2 calendars on it. It shows the delineation of the items that we need for the purple power. The Romney plan would guarantee you get hazard pay. Romney requires the employers to get you hazard pay. These things are not a lot of money. Let's make this very clear. These things are not a lot of money. When we're talking about how much you're apportioning in a bill, that's where they can get in there. You know, $25 billion, $35 billion, $55 billion. It sounds like a lot of money to us, but it can get in there, $25 or $55 billion. It's not a lot of money. What's a lot of money is bailing out Andrew and Gavin Cuomo. Andrew and Gavin Cuomo, I love that. At $915 billion, which is the 3-year grant, which they don't need. The focus this morning is unchanged. 3 pressure points. Pressure point number 1, getting behind the problem solvers themselves, tweeting the problem solvers, treating the new Democratic coalition, treating the Blue Dog. Repeat, problem solvers, new Democratic coalition, and Blue Dogs. And say, I support you. Let's get your bill to the finish line. Let's get a vote on your bill to the finish line. We have a deadline, and that deadline's October 1st. Yeah, it's not our deadline, but we're just using the deadline. It's October 1st. Let's get it to the deadline, and let's get a vote. Problem Solvers Caucus Twitter handle has less than 2,000 followers. Do you think I saw how many tweets you sent them yesterday, like 5,000. You think they saw them? Oh yeah, they saw them. Keep it up. Same thing with the problem solver. Same thing with the Blue Dog. Same thing with the new Democrat coalition. Next, pressure. We need to do pressure in the middle group. Who's the middle group? The president. What the hell is the president doing? What the hell is this president doing? You have already touted you're sending out stimulus checks that are more generous than the Democrats. Have you sent them? No. You talked about the funds that you found to send out stimulus checks 4 weeks ago. Have you used the funds to send out stimulus checks by executive order? No. Steve Mnuchin was on Capitol Hill twice this week talking about that the president wants to send out stimulus check. Larry Kudlow said it last Friday on Major Garrick with CBS. I mean, that's 5 or 6 comments in just 4 days. Have you sent them out? No. What are you doing? You got to apply pressure. Steve Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, Pete Navarro, the president, Meadows, got to say, hey, stimulus checks by executive order. Or, yeah, I mean, you don't give us stimulus checks by executive order when you have the money and you said you're going to do it. Then what are you there for? What are you there for? You know, and I'm going to be frank about something else which I haven't gone over in detail in a while, which is that the president is the executive branch of the government. He does not write laws. But in the same regard, his cabinet member, Steve Mnuchin, has been the chief negotiator for your second stimulus package. And so throughout this entire discussion, how many times has the president actually had someone on his team write the bill to introduce stimulus checks to Congress, or work as a team member with a congressional leader to write the bill? Zero. And how many times Mitch McConnell introduced a bill to the president disavow it? 100% of the time. So what is this? You just simply don't do anything and you just blame other people when they don't do it, right? Apply the pressure. Middle group, executive order, stimulus check, send it out now. Send it out now. Remember the focus of this channel. A lot of viewers said, hey, I think it's going to happen this Saturday. Well, it didn't happen that Saturday. Maybe it happens this weekend. Apply the pressure. Third group is this group. I'm going to call out some names. Sorry, don't hate me. I'm going to call out some names. Donna Shalala. She's a wonderful person, but you need to apply pressure to her. This is what she said. She's a Democrat. I'm just holding out for a delay. My district looks grimmer and grimmer. I'm just praying we get a deal, and I'm not willing to hypothesize what it looks like without going home without a deal. I just want to go home with something. I got to go home and help my people. My district is just devastated like little Havana. The unemployment is very serious, and the sickness is very serious. Okay, Donna, why are you doing 2.4? You're going home. You're going to have your Temple of Doom write a bill that no one is going to support at 2.4. It's going to be a piece of paper. It's not going to become a law. No one is going to support it. And you go home little Havana, and everyone's going to be as broke as they were the day before the Temple of Doom wrote the bill. So what are you doing, Donna Shalala? Why aren't you supporting the Problem Solvers bill? So you need to be on social media and say, Donna Shalala, I saw your comment, support the Problem Solvers bill. These people keep on saying, I can't go home unless we get something done. Support the Problem Solvers bill. What are you doing by supporting a $2.4 trillion bill, which you know is not going to pass? I mean, you have to be, deaf, dumb, and blind to not realize that the Problem Solvers bill would pass, and a $2.4 trillion bill is not going to pass. Let me just make something clear, because sometimes viewers ask me, why is 2.4 trillion not passing? Because it's too partisan. It's too high a number. If it was 2.0, it may pass. If it was 1.9, it probably pass. If it was 1.5, it would definitely pass. But when you're at 2.4, absolutely no way, no how. I mean, you could bet the Rolls Royce in Mitch's driveway, or the $12 ice cream in the $20,000 fridge. It's not going to pass. So what are we doing? Next one to apply pressure. Debbie Dingell, Dingell, Dingell. Shalala is Shalala. Debbie Dingell, a Democrat of Michigan, says, yes, we need to pass this right away. Members feel very strongly. No, members feel very strongly for a bipartisan bill, Debbie Dingell. So tweet Debbie Dingell, say, do the Problem Solvers bill, Debbie Dingell. You want to get something for American people, do it right now. Pete Aguilar, representative out of California, Democrat. Aguilar, Aguilar, out of California. Tweet him as well. He says, I think we should be taking up COVID-19 legislation before we leave. I don't think we ought to wait. Tell him support the Problem Solvers bill. What are you doing? You're supporting a $2.4 trillion bill. You're waiting till next week for it. What are you doing? I think it should send a signal to the public as to where we are. It's more recent than the HEROES Act. It represents, you think, the things that we need to be. I hope that something happens. Something already has happened. It's Problem Solvers bill. Go support it. Go introduce it. I don't know what's with this group. Now, these, of course, are the people I just quoted you are not these people. These people are the people who signed that letter to the Temple of Doom saying, you can't keep on doing this. Max, these are people you need to get behind. These are the people who, if anyone has the time and can find the Twitter handles from all of them and put them in one tweet, then certainly DM me and we'll figure out a way to send this out to the entire Purple Power. But these are the people you got to get behind who wrote this letter. Max Rose, Jamie Herrera, Anthony Brzezinski, Fred Upton, Gilbert Cisneros, Stephanie Murphy, Josh Gottenberg. I mean, these are a lot of people. I see some of these names I recognize. Some of these people are people who have done standalone bills. Some of these people are the people who did the Problem Solvers bill. The economic situation is a little bit confusing because why would this president not do the stimulus now? Jim Cramer yesterday, Jim Cramer all this week keeps on saying, what is the president doing? What is the president doing? The stock market's down. Economy's not doing well. People need PPP. People need enhanced unemployment benefits. The stock analyst reports coming out analyzing stocks are saying Don't buy Apple stock because people will not be buying cell phones because they don't have enhanced unemployment benefits. They're unemployed and they're not getting enhanced unemployment benefits. And we're worried about the stimulus package, so don't go buy Apple stock. I mean, it's that obvious. It's like, you're at the supermarket. Should I get the $3 cheese? No, don't buy it because I don't think they're going to pass the enhanced unemployment benefits. Should I get the $2 pizza? No, don't pass it because they haven't yet sent out the stimulus checks. I mean, it's that inherently embedded in our culture now that we realize that the Temple of Doom has done nothing. We're almost to the finish line. Labor numbers yesterday were not good. Unemployment rate went up. But the great news as we start the new morning is that you're almost to the finish line. What we have to do is remain positive and focused. 3 pressure points. People were behind. Problem solvers, Blue Dogs, New Democrat Coalition. People were pushing President, Mnuchin, Meadows, Kudlow, Navarro. Send out those stimulus checks. Do the executive order. What's going on? I got it that you're going to do a Supreme Court nominee on Saturday. I got it. But how about our stimulus? Send that out. The last group is finally the group that you have to make feel uneasy. Seats for stimulus. Seats for stimulus. And what I mean by stimulus is I mean stimulus that's in our hands, not stimulus that's in a nice letterhead that looks beautiful, that you appear on Jimmy Kimmel to talk about, and that ultimately goes nowhere because it's $2.4 trillion. That's not seats for stimulus. That's seats for PR. We're not here for seats for PR. We're here seats for stimulus. So don't be giving us a lot of public relations because we're going to push back with the negative public relations. That's the focus of this channel today, to get ahead of the story and say, this thing coming from her is a waste of time. Don't give her airtime. It's 2.4. It's exactly what she's been doing since July, at a time in which Steve Mnuchin offered us $400 a week for enhanced unemployment benefits, and we, by 10 weeks now, would have had $4,000 in our pocket. Guess what she's going to do next week? She'll probably put it at $600 a week again, which is what he's not going to agree to, which no one on the other side is going to agree to. I wouldn't agree to. No one would agree to $600 every single week because it's too high. Do you think she's going to have multiple checks in there? Of course, you can apply that pressure as well. I'm not going to support your bill because you don't have multiple checks. Give us $2,000 checks for every month for 6 months. Maybe I'll support your bill, however bloated it is. It's going to be a great day. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you joining me. It's been an incredible run of 5 months. Who would have thought I would have been here dealing with? Okay, now I'm getting overexposed as the light is coming up in a gloomy day. A lot has changed and not a lot is different. I'm here, you're here. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And thank you, and have a great morning. See you this afternoon on Afternoons LALATE. Go to the Furnace channel and subscribe, because who takes care of you and who takes care of one another better than this channel? It's a community of helping one another. It's been that way since day one. We're here to help one another get through this pandemic. Also like this video because, bunny rabbits, cows, we got the whole family represented. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in LA for more.